Hello everyone and welcome to Metagame Mastery, where it's not just about what the card does, but how it impacts the game. Today we are doing something a little bit different. We are taking a look at one of my all-time favorite decks from one of my all-time favorite games, the OG Versus system. We're doing a deck tech for straight up Avengers. If you enjoy our content, please remember to like, and if you're new here, take a second to click that subscribe button so you can get all our latest content. So without further ado, big time, go time, let's go. So this was my third deck that I ever built. I went out and I got just a bunch of Avengers booster boxes on the cheap, and I got basically a playset of all the Avengers. And what I noticed is that they take advantage of two new mechanics from their set and a third mechanic that's part of the core rules of the game. And a lot of the cards, they have more than one synergy or mechanic on them. So they actually come together really neat, really nice, making for a very consistent build. To this day, many, many years later, it is one of my favorite decks. So the new mechanics that we're taking advantage of, one of which is Reservist. Reservist simply says you may recruit this card from your resource row. That's important, and I'll tell you why. Because typically, if you play a character card into your resource row, then it's gone. And it's basically a form of card disadvantage. You don't want that to happen. Whereas if you play a plot twist or a location, the equivalent in Magic would be, I suppose, a non-basic land and instance. Then you can flip those cards and get at least one use off of them. So typically in decks, you have to go about 50-50. You want to have half your deck be plot twists and locations and half your deck be character cards. In this deck, you can run even more character cards, and it's not a disadvantage because you can always put them in your resource row and cast that card later if you need it. And on top of that, it becomes an additional resource for Reservist Matters triggers, which we're going to be running several of. Very powerful mechanic here. And then the core mechanic we take advantage of is team attacking. Black Widow, for example, gets an additional bonus ability whenever she team attacks. A lot of our cards are going to take advantage of that. So we're gonna be flooding the board with dudes, and we're gonna be team attacking all day long. And then the last mechanic that's specifically from Avengers is Leader. And Leader is a static ability that affects all cards that are adjacent to the leader on the board. So the more guys you have out, the more you can populate around them on the board, getting you exponential value. Up to 5 separate characters can be adjacent at a single time. So let's take a look at the actual deck itself. First up, we run a play set of Jarvis at the 1-drop. Jarvis, Honorary Avenger, is a 1/1 Avenger, and whenever he becomes a defender, you may return him to his owner's hand. If you do, search your deck for an Avenger's character card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So, he's potentially a free tutor. And if at any point in the game you are in a position to play off curve, then you can put Jarvis back into play and get another tutor off of him later on. He does not work as a blocker because when he's removed from the battlefield in the middle of combat, that resets the attack. So your opponent would just be able to get a new attack in. Still, very powerful, exploitable, repeatable tutor. And here we have the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne Pym. She is a 2-drop, 2/3 Avenger with flight, range, and concealed optional. Concealed is you may have this character come into play in the hidden area. Characters in the hidden area cannot be targeted with an attack. They also effectively can't block, so it's give and take. she's a leader, and team attackers adjacent to Wasp cannot be stunned. Very powerful, allowing us to just team attack with everything and not have to worry about any potential crackback. Next up, we have Natasha Romanov, Black Widow Super Spy. She is a 2-drop, 3/2 Avenger with range. She's also a reservist, and when she's team attacking, whenever she stuns a defender, you may stun target character with cost 3 or less. That's awesome. So she gets to go in, team attack, stun one character, and then potentially shoot up curve, knocking something else out. They don't even get a chance to do any combat tricks to try and pump up their guy. He's just instant toast. Very powerful, potential 2 for 1, always good. And the last 2-drop we actually run 3 of, and that's Falcon. Falcon Sam Wilson is a 2/2 Avenger with flight. He's also a reservist, and he gets +2 attack and +2 defense while adjacent to a leader character, which actually puts him way above curve for a 2/2. So he's very powerful, and he can populate our resource row as a reservist. He also has a boost ability, which is like the magic equivalent of kicker. You can pay +1 when you recruit him to get the additional effect of when he comes into play, search your deck for a leader character card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. I've never actually used it in a game, but hey, extra is extra, right? Now for our key 3-drop is actually Quicksilver, Mutant Avenger. He's a 4/5 Avenger. He's also a reservist, and whenever a defender becomes stunned by one or more team attackers you control, ready Quicksilver. He's super powerful because you could just team attack with him over and over and over again, and then at the end of combat, you just go ahead and team attack with him, or I'm sorry, just regular attack with him one more time, potentially on an open field. Very powerful. He basically makes it so that all our characters can team attack, but we don't necessarily lose board state because of it. Awesome card. He really makes this deck go. Next, we also run a play set of Black Panther T'Challa. He is a 3-drop, 4/3 Avenger, reservist, and concealed. So not optional. He has to go to your hidden area. And when he comes into play, you may reveal any number of face-down resources you control. Put a +1 attack, +1 defense counter on Black Panther for each reservist you revealed. So on turn 3, he's potentially 7/6. That's way above curve. Super powerful. And on turn 4, he's an 8/7. That's still kind of above curve. Very good. And then on turn 5, he's a 9/8. Okay, maybe a scotch below curve, but you still can drop a 2-drop on top of that. On turn 6, that's when he sort of lags behind. He's a 10/9. And yeah, he's a little bit below curve, but it's better than having nothing. This guy is just a great filler card for you to play anytime, making it so that if you do miss your drop and you do have to play off curve for whatever reason, you're not going to get blown out and you're still going to have a relevant body on the board. Awesome. Awesome card in this deck. Next up, we have Captain Marvel herself, Carol Danvers, Warbird, Galactic Adventurer. She is a 7/6 Avenger with flight range. She's also a reservist. And while team attacking, whenever she stuns a defender with cost 5 or less, return that defender to its owner's hand. Very powerful. In this game, it's all about keeping pace with your opponent. So she can attack up curve and knock that creature off the board. That's effectively like insta-killing that creature, making it so that they have no opportunity to bring it back in the recovery step. Very supremely powerful in this strategy. Next up, we have Iron Man, Mighty Avenger. He is we're running 2 of him. He is a 4-drop, 7/7 with flight and range. He's also a leader. Whenever an adjacent character becomes stunned during the combat phase, you can recover it, and at the start of the recovery phase, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Very powerful. So the character can get stunned, so you have to worry about taking stun damage. But he's not going to stay stunned. He's instantly recovered, so you don't lose any board state, and you get a +1/+1 counter on top of everything else. This guy is sick in this deck. Perfect addition. Now, at the 5-drop spot, we're running a full playset of Hawkeye. Hawkeye, leader of by example, is an 11/9 Thunderbolt with range. So he's not actually Avenger. He can't be reinforced. He cannot team attack. And he's a reservist. And he is also a leader. Characters adjacent to Hawkeye cannot be stunned while attacking a character with greater cost. So it's a really powerful ability. Just being able to attack up curve, potentially leaving him wide open to attack in for nothing. He's a little bit of a weak link when it comes to defense. So typically if you are playing on evens, which is a really solid choice for this deck, then you'd rather get your Spider-Man Secret Avenger, which is a 2-of in this deck. He's 9/10 with range. He has loyalty, so you have to already have an Avenger or a Spider Friend in play in order to play him. And he's also a reservist. You can discard a character card. Target opposing character loses and cannot have powers and keywords this turn. Use only once per turn. Very important in the fact that he can instant speed shut down very powerful static effects or repeatable effects, like for example Bastion and Sentinels. He is our answer to those really powerful effects that would basically shut us down or overwhelm us in the game. Also, he can be tutored for, whereas Hawkeye cannot in this deck. In the 6-drop spot, we are running a full play set of Captain America Super Soldier. He is a 12/12 Avenger. He has range, and he's a leader. Avengers attackers adjacent to Captain America cannot be stunned. Dang, that's just raw power right there. And Avengers defenders adjacent to Captain America get +2 attack, +2 defense. So his defense ability is non-trivial, not as good, but basically having infinite toughness if they're adjacent to Captain America on the attack is supremely powerful. Being able to avoid just trading every single attack is supremely powerful. This guy is possibly the best card in the entire deck. Love him. Next up, we run 2 copies of Wonder Man. He's better to play if you're on evens. Or on odds, I should say. Anyways, he's a better defensive play. He is a 12/12 Avenger with flight and range. He's a reservist, and when Wonder Man comes into play, you may reveal up to 5 face-down resources you control. You may stun target character if its cost is less than the number of reservist cards you reveal. So he's an enter the battlefield stun effect for up to a 4-drop. That's very powerful. Being able to hit something outside of combat and just nix it right off the board. Usually best when you're on odds and they've managed to save their 4-drop from a previous turn. he just comes into play and nicks it right off the board before they can use it on offense. Next, in the 7-drop spot, we are running a full playset of Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Son of Zeus. Many of you may not know that he was an Avenger, and one of the biggest Avengers, especially through the 80s. He's a 16/16 Avenger with loyalty, so you have to already have an Avenger in play in order to play him. He is a Reservist, and you can reveal 3 face-down Reservist resources you control. Ready Hercules. Hercules cannot cause breakthrough while attacking characters this turn. Use his power only once per turn. So he can attack in, then you activate this ability to untap him and attack again. But this time, he can't trample. That's still super, 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 super good. He's already a 16/16 for 7, which makes him above curve. He can go ahead, smash in, destroy something, get all the trample damage in, and then he can turn around and smash their 7-drop and still be A-OK. This guy is one of the best 7-drops in the game. Awesome card. And then we have a 2-drop, or 2 copies of, I should say, our 8-drop, Thor, God of Thunder. This guy's the beastie. He is a 20/20 Avenger with flight and range. He's a leader. Each Avengers character adjacent to Thor gets plus X attack, where X is that character's cost. Damn. So that makes Hercules a 23/16 when he attacks. That makes Captain America at 18/12 when he attacks. This gets nuts real fast. This guy is super powerful, awesome finisher for this deck. We also run 1 copy of the classic Mjolnir. 0-drop equipment that equip only to characters named Thor. And hold on. Equipped character gets +2 attack, and while attacking has invulnerability. You can also reveal Mjolnir and put it on the bottom of your deck. Search your deck for a character card named Thor, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Use this power only if Mjolnir is in your hand. So he's a 0-drop tutor for our 8-drop. Or if we happen to already have our 8-drop in our hand, then this makes him even more sick, making him a 22/20 attacker with invulnerability. Freaking awesome. Definitely worth a one-off spot. So next up, we run exactly 3 playsets of plot twists. We run a 4 of Repulsor Ray, which has a threshold cost of 2, and target attacker gets +2 attack this attack. If that attacker has the Avengers affiliation, your opponents cannot use character payment powers this turn. Very good at shutting down those repeatable power effects that, like Bastion and Sentinels, that just hammer you over and over and over again. We also run a full playset of Legendary Battles. It's a 2 threshold plot twist, and while team attacking this turn, Avengers characters you control get +1 attack and cannot be stunned. So many cards in this deck make it so that we can attack with impunity, allowing us to just build up advantage on our board state, turn after turn after turn. And then lastly, we run a full playset of, you guessed it, Avengers Assemble! With that gorgeous Therese Nielsen art. It's a plot twist with a threshold cost of 3. As an additional cost to play Avengers Assemble, discard a leader character card. Search your deck for an Avengers character card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Each character you recruit this turn with the same name as the card you revealed comes into play with a +1/+1 counter on it. Super powerful, just allowing us to tutor our deck for whatever character we need, with the exception of Hawkeye, whatever, and power them up in the process, allowing us to further impact to the board. This deck is super consistent. You saw that there are 3 separate tutors in it. You saw that we have at least 4 ways to make it so our guys can't be stunned in combat. And on top of that, so many of the cards just mesh together super well. It's super versatile, super consistent. If you ever get the chance to play Versus System, I highly recommend you give this one a try. That's it for today. If you enjoy our content, please hit that like button, or if you're new to the channel, click subscribe. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!